Basically, a lot of the European players actually flew over to Korea to be a part of the wedding. So Reynor was there, Harstem, Piotr, Spirit. Who else was there? Spirit, Petit Drogo. I think Zanster as well. So it was really cool to see basically like a bunch of European players go to Korea for Soto's wedding. They were all there. The best men. I don't know who his best man was. I don't out of all of them, I'm not too sure. But regardless, here we go. We're jumping into our next series here. Oh, un momento. Once again. I have to be a little bit more careful here. The replays are mislabeled. Hold on. Bjorn did not play. Yo. The GSL intern, what's going on? Vitality. Okay. Setting up for Zoun. So it's going to be Reynor versus Zoun. So I do have to set that up. I was looking forward to a ZvT. Okay. There we go. We are set up. Going to be jumping into game one. Game one is going to be on ley lines. Let's go. Of course, Vitality, they recently picked up Zoun. Vitality, it's been really cool to see their commitment to StarCraft. Of course, they did announce that they had signed Maru for 3 years. They have a 3-year contract with Maru. And so it's really cool to see them support him for as long as they are. And of course, recently picked up a new player as well, as spawning in the top right-hand corner of ley lines. We have our South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Team Vitality. It is Zoun. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Italian Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Basilisk. It is Reynor. Here we go. As Zoun does move out immediately across the map to go for the pylon block here at the natural. And ideally forcing the unnatural natural out of Reynor. We saw the Rogue's attempted answer to this was to go for non-stop hatch blocks across the map. And now that we're going to be featuring Reynor, I'm curious, do we finally get some macro? True, we might actually get some here. Let's go. I don't know how much the Koreans have influenced Reynor in his time there. Not too sure about that. Likewise, I don't know how much the Rift has influenced Reynor. That's another unfortunate reality, is that Reynor, he has been lost in the Rift for like the past 5 months. He's been lost for quite some time. Yeah. Someone has to save him. Get him out of there. Get him out of there. Maybe he finally made it out into Korea. Let's go. But he's been enjoying some top lane with the MOBA kids in recent times. Este Reynor. SMH. I don't know the vocabulary for that. Lambert. Oh, let's go. If Lambert was the best man, that would make sense. Wholesome, baby, wholesome. So it's sort of, yeah. Here we go, we're going to be settling in. For now, we have our gate expanded to Cybercore out of Zoun, Standard Opener out of our Protoss player, likewise Hatchgas Pool out of Reynor as well. Now, when it comes to Zoun, he has been very vocal about PvZ. He has expressed his frustrations and difficulties in the matchup. It was, I think, during KSL not too long ago, where he was trying to get some wisdom out of Hero. He was like, "Bappy, how do you do it? How are you so good at PvZ?" And Hero's like, "I'm just lucky. I'm just." Sounds like, God damn it. Help me, Bobby, help me. So Zoun has been struggling a little bit more in PvZ when it comes to his matchups. I think I would probably agree that I think it's his current weakest matchup at the moment compared to his PvP and PvT. But we'll see how he comes in prepared for GSL specifically. Of course, I'm sure Zoun is a little more motivated to continue to improve. I mentioned this previously, but Zoun, he did recently join Team Vitality, and he is going to star as Zagora, I believe, as a result of that. They're supporting him when it comes to flights, when it comes to traveling. And Zoun, he only recently came back from the military. If you recall, it was last year, I want to say October. Like around October, November of last year is when Zoun came back from the military. And he did announce that he was going to devote his time to StarCraft again. And he has risen through the ranks quite heavily. I think I would go as far as to say that Zoun is top 3 Protoss in Korea. I would say top 3 just behind Classic. Like, Zoun has been impressing me more than Creator as of late. And of course, Trap is on hiatus. So it's been really cool to see the growth of Zoun, and a really, really strong growth over a short period of time. If you remember, like, his big breakout performance was in December when he beat Clem. Like, Zoun did defeat Clem in a Lima League. That was back in early December, if I recall correctly. Which is crazy because, remember, he came back in October. So to be beating Clem in December was wild. And that's also why I rate, like, Zoun's PvT quite highly. But from here, and it was a long macro game as well, for those who remember. It was a long macro game. It was really the late game, if I recall correctly. It wasn't like any kind of cheese or anything like that. Meanwhile, Twilight Council follow-up here from Zoun. That is a Twilight Council before the expansion. Now, this could be one of two things. This could be early Glaives or early Blink. If this was Hero, I would say early Blink. Anyone else, I would assume Glaives. So what do you have for us? What do you got? As the Twilight Council is done, yep, there we go. Glaive Adepts are on the way. Now, this is pretty aggressive and pretty committed. Basically, Zoun, he's hiding his build. He's making it look like a standard opener in a standard game. So far, Reynor, he does not get into the bases. And the scary thing here is that Reynor would be tempted to skip his Roach Warren. Now, thankfully, Roach Warren has been thrown down. Safety Roach Warren. He does have some good SimCity here at the ramp as well, or at the natural mineral line, or natural entrance. And this needs to get some damage done here, bearing in mind, because we're going into Glaives, this is delaying Blink, and this is delaying the Forge and +1. Like, a lot of tech is delayed. Now, this is not an all-in. Don't get this twisted. This is not an all-in. We're still expanding. We're still probing up. But that's a lot more gateways being thrown down. Jesus. that's a lot of gates. A lot more than I'm used to. Usually, I would assume, 4-gate Glaives, then, catching up with Blink and Immortal production with the Robo. Reynor is investing into +1 melee, going into a Ling heavy style. Ideally, Reynor, he wants to avoid Roach production. He does have the Roach Warren if need be, but he's making nothing but Lings. And that's exactly what the Adepts want. They want to face off against Lings. And still, there's been no tell. The initial Adepts that are revealed here, this is normal. This is standard. Seeing 4 or 5 Adepts this early on is as it should be. The rest of the Adepts are being kept hidden. They're banking up here in between the bases. So no scout from Reynor. Lair is still on the way, which means no Overseer scouts. Lings are poking in, and he confirms. He does get eyes on the Adepts. He sees everything he needs to. Now Roach production. Roaches are on the way. Reynor, he has to get ready to wall off. Zoun is moving out. Zoun is moving out. There's the wall off. Does wall off the natural base. Queen's under fire. Does commit to the shade. Lings are here for the surround. Here they come in, they do try to punish. The Adepts, they clean up the Lings. And boys are going to be going down. No Spore here at the third. Getting 4, 5, 6 drone kills, but the Adepts are cleaned up. And Reynor holds. Reynor, he does hold on, even taking down the final Oracle. Oracle gets thrown away. This was a little losses here for Zoun. He will lose 13, 14 Adepts to Oracles, and now here comes the counterattack. Zoun, he's in trouble here. Ideally, you want more than this. You want to retain your Adepts. You want to get damage across the map. But here, Reynor, he responds with nothing but the all-in. From here, going to be rushing across the map. Zoun going to try to slow this down, but things are looking bleak here for Zoun. Does deny one of the Ravagers. Ravager is denied. At the same time, Adepts, they do shade in. They try to slow down some reinforcements. But Reynor, he's looking solid behind this. He's looking solid. Likewise, the Orville's are here to support. Yo, we have Transfuse. Let's go. The creep has arrived. And again, the initial opener here from Zoun just did not do enough. Blink is still not done, by the way. Yeah, there's still no Blink. Lings, they get into the mineral lines. Files, they connect with the Adepts. Queens, they're holding their own. They're transfusing. Yeah, they're holding their own. At the same time, we get the link drop here into the natural. 25 probe kills, no reaction, no response. Zoun, he will lose the entire mineral line, and Reynor's not done. He's going for the main. He's going for the kill. The hit squad of Lings, the Jumbo Lord. He's crazy. He gets in, and even though he might not get too much damage in the main, he already wreaked havoc at the natural. There's nothing left. There's nothing left at the natural. There's no economy. Cloud's going to be connecting, and GG gets called. Reynor, he will overwhelm. He will punish Zoun, and Reynor takes game number 1. Whew, GG. Reynor, he does take a lead. Again, Zoun, he went for a cheeky build going for those glaive adepts, but as we mentioned, ideally you want to retain those adepts. You want to poke in, get a couple of worker kills, thread in shades, and transition into a longer game. But Zoun, he committed. He committed too much, too hard. He lost everything. He lost all the adepts early on, did not do enough damage. And Reynor, he just went for the all-in. He went for the counterattack then and there. GG. Reynor, he does punish Zoun. And now we're jumping into game 2. We'll see if Zoun can recover. We'll see if he can bounce back. As we are going to be loading into Amygdala. Let's go. And we still haven't seen any macro. We hit It still has not happened, by the way. Oh no. As spawning in the top right hand corner of Amygdala, we have the blue Protoss flavor. The blue Protoss representing Team Vitality. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back and force the ace match. It is Zoun. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the Italian Zerg player, the red Zerg, representing Basilisk, leading the series 1-0. It is Reynor. We go. As Reynor is going to be expanding, taking his natural, going for the initial 15-15, and our eyes are going to be on Zoun here. Again, Zoun, he was the aggressor last game, going for those glaive adepts. In the end, was not worth it. In the end, he did fall behind. And now we're leading into a larger map. Because the map is larger, now I would imagine we have less incentive to go into glaives, to be hyper aggressive. I would lean towards a longer macro game, but if you remember, I said the same thing about Rogue versus Classic. I was like, oh, it's Amygdala. Rogue, he's probably going to take up into Lunkers. Like, we're probably just going to drone up, saturate, calm down, and then he went for a Link Queen Nidus all in. it's like, okay, sure, I guess. Never mind. So if you recall, Rogue, he was the one that just committed to the all-in, and he did catch Classic with his pants down. The pants were down. Is Reynor willing to do something similar here? We go. It's not a macro candidate. Maybe not. Maybe not. At least for the first half of the qualifiers. We'll find out for the second half later on. For now, though, a probe scout gets across the map, does get eyes on what's going on. So far, everything's looking as it should be. And all the map. As I mentioned before, the qualifiers were held last week. They were held before the map pool was introduced. Bearing in mind, the new map pool has only been around for 6 days, right? Am I crazy? The new map pool has not been around for too long, so the qualifiers are played on the previous map pool. Just as a heads up. I'm not certain what GSL is going to be played on. I would imagine GSL, the proper event, is going to be played on the new map pool, I would imagine. But GSL, they often do their own thing, so yet to be determined. I would hope it's on the new map pool. The main event, I mean. But I don't think we have confirmation on that yet. So for now, we are going to be settling in. Once again, Stargate opener out of Zoun, going for the Oracle. Now remember, what did we see last game? We saw a Stargate Oracle opener into a delayed third into faster Twilight Council after the Stargate. So we could see Zoun do something similar. I'll be honest, I'm not too fond of the idea of going for the same build 2 games in a row, especially after it failed in game 1. So it does feel like we're setting up for a longer macro game, that we're setting up for a faster third into a more standard economic game state. So far, no major signs of aggression. Let's go. Go. So now Zoun, yep, he takes his third. This time there's no early tech. So Stargate Opener, Oracle into a third base. This is, for the first time, we have a standard... I spoke too soon. God damn it. That is a very early Twilight Council. Now, this Twilight Council is not as early as last game. It's not as early as, you know, before third, but just as a third base gets thrown down, we have our Twilight Council, late Forge. This could still be Glaives. It could still be Glaives, or it could be early Blink. We have two options. Oracle dips in, gets 3 drone kills. Not bad. The 3 workers does pull away. Lings, they get across the map. They do catch 1 Adept. And remember, late Forge out of Zoun. Without a Forge, what are we going for? Are we going for Glaives once again? What do you have for us? Early Blink. Early Blink Stalkers. Now, from here, depending on when we get the Forge, this can turn into a 3-base all-in. This can turn into an 8-gate 3-base all-in with Mass Blink Stalker. The lack of Forge and lack of upgrades is indicative of the fact that we're not really setting up for a longer game. So Zoun has that available to him. Reynor, meanwhile, taking a 4th base, massing up Lings, getting a safety Roach Horn just in case. Remember, ideally, Reynor, he wants to avoid Roach production. He's going to +1 melee. Adepts moving in. And I still don't see a Forge, by the way. Yeah, still no Forge. Extra gateways being thrown down. And how many gates do we have? So far, we're getting up to 3, getting up to 6 gateways. And we're waiting for an 8-gate setup. We're almost there. Late Forge, though. Okay, Forge is still being thrown down. So late Forge, late upgrades, but upgrades nonetheless. This tells us that Zoun is most likely setting up for a longer game. We'll see. We'll see if he takes his gases, more importantly. If he takes his gases, that means he can afford either Colossus or Storm. So we're keeping an eye on the gas count here of Zoun. Yep, there it is. Gases, he's macroing. Okay. He's going to be macroing up. Now, the early Blink here does mean that he can be assertive early on, but he's not going for the all-in. As we mentioned, he's teching up. He's taking gases. I would say this is really more of a safe build than anything. If Reynor was going for an all-in, then Blink would be ready to defend. Like, Blink would be done in time to defend the 3rd. He pokes out, and we'll see if he can do anything here at the 4th. I'm not too convinced. There's plenty of Lings. Stasis Trap is going to go off, but plenty more Lings collapse on this. And Reynor so far is looking solid. And this is where the build of Zoun is hurting him. Like, we were emphasizing like how aggressive it was initially and how late some of the tech is, and that is going to impact him coming into a longer game. So late upgrades, late tech. Reynor collapsing on the Stalkers. Meanwhile, GSL, Overlord Speed is on the way. He's not droning. He's not droning up. Reynor is cutting workers at 3-base saturation. Doesn't take his gases. He's going purely Ling Roach. No Hydras, no Hive, no Infestation Bit, no nothing. Reynor, he's going for an all-in. God damn it. Now, this is a 3-base all-in, so it's a little bit later here, but Reynor is committing. If you remember, initially we had assumed that Zoun would be going for the 3-base all-in, but no, it's Reynor. It's Reynor instead. Zoun, he's setting up, trying to get up for a longer and later game. Stalker's getting called out, and Reynor, he's setting everything across the map. Here come the drop lords, here come the queens. It's like a delayed German taxi. The taxi was late, but it's gonna get there. Let's go. As we are loading up. And Zoun, he's trying to get ready. He's throwing down cannons, shield batteries, trying to set up back at home. We have the Robo on the way, the Bay on the way. Double Robo production into 2 Colossus at a time. And Reynor, he's dropping everything. Jesus. Yeah, we heard you like drops. So we put drops on your drops. Oh my god. Nice stasis. Stasis does go up. Double Ling drop here on the right-hand side. Double drop, drop here towards the natural. Main army right down the center. And again, Reynor, he has not made a drone in like 3 minutes. Like, he has not droned in quite some time. He has under 3-base saturation. His 4th base is just for Larva. His 5th base only for Larva as well. It's just for the all-in. And Reynor, he's almost maxed. Now, this does hit later. Because this all-in hits later, I mean, there are 2 Colossus. They can try to hold on. Meanwhile, Lings, they flood in. Yeah, Stalkers being forced back, the Colossus are revealed. Lings, they avoid the Colossi. They're going for the Stalkers instead. And we get the drop into the mineral line. So many Stalkers going to be going down. Some brutal losses here for Zoun. The Colossus, they're holding their own, but down goes the Mineral Line. Yeah, the probes are falling down. He doesn't notice, doesn't react. Every probe goes down. 25 probe kills. And the third base is also being broken as well, being forced further and further back. The Colossus, they defend against the main push here at the Mineral, or the Natural. What about everything else? What about everything else, though? As piles are connecting, probes are falling, and the third base is being broken. Colossus looks like they take down the Queens. And Zoun, he's barely holding on, but he's down to 28 workers. Barely an economy. And Zoun just doesn't really have much to work with. Getting into +2 though, let's go. We'll have upgrades on his side, I suppose, but now Reynor drones. Now Reynor, he's done crippling damage. Now he's droning up, now he's saturating. Going for another link drop into the Natural. We have a Hive on the way. Now, technically, macro game, Kappa. Whereas, like, see, it wasn't a win. See, look, I planned to drone up the entire time. Just at the 10-minute mark. Ay. He still only made 2 drones, by the way. Here we go. We have 4 more on the way. Reynor focusing on his Roach production, make sure he doesn't go down. Does that step in, going for the Colossus. Likewise, link drop once again into the Natural. And the Colossus does fall. There's no War Prism, there's no juggling, there's no control here. And Reynor, he has done a GG gets called. Reynor, he takes down Zoun 2-0, and Reynor, he will qualify for GSL. GG. Whew. GG, well played, Reynor. He does claim the series here. We have yet to get a back and forth macro game. Technically, this game did last a little bit longer, but again, Reynor, he cut workers at 61. That is under 3-base saturation. Went for a pure Ling, Ravager, Queen all-in with drop lords as well. And he was able to pull Zoun apart. Zoun had a quirky build himself, if you remember. Zoun, it almost felt like he was setting up for a defense against a 2-base all-in with the early blink, and it really hurt him in the end. Remember, later upgrades, later tech, later gases, everything was delayed in favor of early blink Stalkers, and he didn't achieve anything with it, partially because Reynor wasn't droning, right? Because Reynor wasn't droning, when the Stalkers moved out to hit the 4th base, there were plenty of Lings because Reynor was already building up his army at that point. He was already ready and getting ready and gearing up for his own all-in, so the early blink Stalker timing didn't really achieve anything. Didn't really achieve much at all, and it did kind of set Zoun more behind, and with that, GG. With that, a GG well played. Reynor does claim the series. Again, as you mentioned, Zoun, he has been having a harder time, specifically in this matchup in PvZ. But a matchup where Zoun has been having more success is PvT. Oh boy.